Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are you this morning? This is February 26th. It is anti-bullying day. Yes. Now, I don't have the anti-bullying t-shirt. I don't. I don't even have a pink shirt of any kind. But I did wear a pink scarf today in honor of this very important day. Now, traditionally, when people are speaking of bullying, they're they're normally talking about how kids bully kids, how kids are getting bullied. But I'm telling you, bullying takes place in adult relationships too. Now, there's a lot of speakers out there that talk about the ways that men bully women. Now, today, being that I'm all about personal accountability, I'm going to talk about how women bully men. And I think we're all aware of these things. I think we know we do some of them. We maybe don't realize how often we do them or how long we've been doing them. And we probably don't really realize how damaging the fact that we have done them has been. So let's just have a reminder of these things today because I know y'all are learning and growing because you're watching inspirational speakers every day. I'm just going to be one more voice in the crowd reminding you to take a look in the mirror today, ladies. Today, take a look in the mirror and determine, are you doing any of these behaviors to your man? If you're not, well, look at you. You're someone that we need to be looking up to. But if you are, take note, make some changes, make your relationship better. Okay, let's get started. What bullying and what bullying by women towards men looks like. Stumbled over that, didn't I? Blech. When we belittle his feelings, when we call him down when he's behaving vulnerable to us, when we roll our eyes when he's expressing frustration over something that we think is ridiculous, or telling him to, oh, just grow up or just man up. That's very belittling and very damaging in a relationship. Then one of the top ways that women bully men, and this is a big one, and I can almost guarantee that nearly every single woman out there has done it in some extent, weaponizing sex, giving affection as a reward for good behavior, and withholding it as a punishment for bad behavior, and not remaining connected in an intimate connection just because that is supposed to be part of your relationship, regardless of good behavior, bad behavior. That is part of the relationship. Stop weaponizing sex. It's bad and it hurts him deeply. Constant criticism is another one. Ladies, if you tell him to load the dishwasher and he loads the dishwasher, don't criticize the way he loads it. Who cares if one of the plastic Tupperware lids gets melted? I think that is far less of significance than the damage that you do inside of him. Every time you criticize the way he does things, you have asked him to do. Perfectionism is not sexy. Criticism is not sexy. So if he's doing anything for you, appreciate it. Don't criticize the way he's doing it. Another one is comparing him to other men. That one's a given. Ladies, we don't like to be compared to other women, so don't compare him to other men. Not all of us can be married to Rip Wheeler. It's just a fact. Get over it. Public humiliation. Now, this is a sneaky one because, your guy, he might be a guy that's got a pretty good sense of humor and he likes to tell a joke now and then and he likes to share jokes. So, but what you don't know is sometimes even those jokey guys, when we poke fun at them, their behavior, or the way they dress, or the way they behave, If we poke fun of them in front of others, yeah, they've trained themselves to, chuckle and giggle and scuff their feet in the dirt, look to the ground and play their part in it. But a lot of those men, those little jokes at their expense, they go inside and they hurt them. They probably won't tell you because they've been trained to believe that telling you how they feel about things is bad and wrong and they shouldn't do it because they've been taught to man up. But I'm just telling you right now, they might not be telling you how hurtful those little moments are to them. So just be mindful of that. Just because your guy's a jokester of a guy doesn't mean he actually doesn't take some of those things personally. So, what do those belittling behaviors do to a man's sense of self worth? Well, for one, they erode his confidence. If you want your man to be strong enough to slay dragons, say things and do things that build his confidence. Don't derail it. Makes him doubt his abilities and his value. A man's greatest quest in life is he is a success if his woman is happy, right? That is how a lot of men define their success. If their woman is not happy and they feel responsible for her not being happy, they will devalue their own worth and start looking for reasons for why do I even live? I say that a little flippantly, but there is some truth to that. The bullying that women do to men, it does bad damage. And I learned this when I was doing my foray into online dating. And honestly, ladies, this is exactly why I went into coaching. Truly, I encountered so many badly damaged men from the words of women, from the behaviors of women. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some damaged women from the behaviors of men too. I'm not ignoring that half. But today we're only talking about women being accountable for women behaviors. And when I was on that site, a lot of those men, they were not looking for a relationship because they'd been badly hurt. They just wanted somebody to listen to them and hear them and validate their experiences. And that's ultimately what led me into coaching. I didn't want to date any of them because they weren't done their healing, learning, growing process. So I decided if I want to hang out with them, I will learn how to help them learn, heal, and grow. But I mostly work with women. Again, another thing that we do to men when we do those behaviors too often is we will we will eventually cause them to shut down emotionally. They will withdraw completely. If you if you shut down their request for physical intimacy enough times, they'll stop asking. If you criticize their suggestions, their ideas, their solutions, if you criticize what comes out of their mouth too many times, they will stop talking. And then you will start complaining to your friends about, he's emotionally distant. He never talks to me anymore. We used to talk all the time. Well, ladies, it's time to turn the mirror around and look at yourself. I had to. I did a lot of these things when I was married. And a lot of these things are the reason my lack of personal awareness and accountability for these things is partly why I'm not married now. So take it from somebody who made the mistakes and has learned from them. When we belittle, criticize, invalidate, emasculate our men, it starts to build up with anger and frustration and exasperation inside of them. And some men are going to lash out and they're going to become bear like. Sometimes that lashing, it's not what you didn't do or what you did do, it's the way you communicated. And it's become hurtful. And he's tired of being spoken to that way or treated that way. So sometimes that is a defense mechanism, a self protection. Don't always assume that when he goes, oh, he's just being an asshole. Well, you know what? Sometimes they're justified in being an asshole. Not gonna lie. And the more times that we belittle, criticize, shut a man out, condemn him, it becomes a big burden on his heart. Because, ladies, listen to this. One of men's greatest prides in their life is that they have created a successful, happy relationship. When their partner is not happy, they take that as a personal failing on their part. Now, we have learned that it is not their personal failing, but they need to learn that too. They need to learn that if you are not happy, it is not because of him. It's because you haven't figured out what to do to make yourself happy. So we need to learn these things and help him learn those things too. I noticed a lot of this in the online dating, the weight of the injury and the mental health issues that were coming out of them. The big deal, ladies. So what can we do? What can we do? Well, first off, I'm a Mars Venus relationship coach, right? So as part of that, I learned a lot about the differences in the brain function between a man and a woman, how we problem solve differently, how we risk men will risk take and women will are more risk adverse. Typically, we communicate differently. We have different thinking patterns. We have different emotion processing, different problem solving. I might have said that already, but I'll say it again because that's actually a big one. We have different problem solving. We have different decision making. Men are more linear. Women are more out here in the peripheral. We have very different ways of engaging in life. And because the way we do things different create conflict on our relationships, that's ultimately what brings out some of our worst behaviors in men and in women. It's because we don't actually understand these differences. We see the differences as being he's an asshole, he doesn't care, he doesn't try, um, his priorities are messed up. No, no, that is so not true. He really wants to be on your team. He does. Sometimes he just doesn't know how. And sometimes you don't know how to get him on your team because you don't even understand yourself well enough. See, these are all things that I learned 10 years of therapy, followed by another 10 years of education and learning. And here I am saying, oh, these things are so important to learn the differences between brains of a man and a woman. Once you understand these things and blend in personality traits and have an understanding of generational trauma, childhood trauma, you have an understanding of all these things, it all creates conflict in relationship. But today, the bigger focus is what are the words that we're using when we speak to our men? Do they build him up or do they cut him down? Have we learned how we need to say things or do things to help him feel respected? Or are we just doing things the way that makes sense to us and, assuming that it's working? Anti-bullying day today. Ladies, turn the mirror around, take a look at yourself, and ask yourself, do I belittle my man? Do I use sex as a weapon? Do I constantly criticize him? Do I try to control him? Do I compare him to other men? Do I make fun of him in public? Put him down? If you say yes to any of those, and yeah, there's a couple of those that I would have to be absolutely honest, I still do. I don't catch myself every time. So we all have some work to do, ladies. We're out there bitching and complaining that we don't have great relationships. Well, time to pull out the accountability card. Let's do our part. We're going to learn more so that we can do better, so that we can teach him to learn more so that he can do better. All right, sister? Have a great rest of your day. Take care, and we'll talk again soon.